That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality. Anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
People are going to be doing what they always do when the economy tanks. They will be blaming immigrants and corporate.
This country has proven resilient based on the fact that its foundation is the age of reason.
America is just now coming to grips with what unfolded here in the early morning hours here in Orlando.
In this city, thousands of demonstrators marched to protest the death of Eric Garner.
Breaking news, a fresh act of madness. The snipers hit 11 police officers.
Gun sales in this country are spiking in the aftermath of the San Bernardino terror attack.
We're bringing it on ourselves. And that's the thing. Al-Qaeda, all those guys, ISIS, they're not compared to the damage that we can do ourselves on a regular basis.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Age of Reason podcast with Mike and Alex, where we are not for the faint of thought. Man, I've been doing a lot of thinking over the last 24 hours. How about you?
Yeah, a lot more than I actually wanted to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting since I woke up at around 4:30 p.m. California time yesterday. It was bad news from the start.
You know, you and five other people over the course of about from 4:30 to about 7-ish, I got about 5 different text messages, and all of them included the words "what the fuck." And like, that's cool. Like, I'm glad, like, I know people that I know only talk to me about politics, and it was cool to see that I was the person they were reaching out to. Like that, like, and when I've talked to them today, because my phone has been, I had a really busy day at work today, so I got to watch Trump's acceptance speech just a few minutes ago, and Hillary's concession speech, which was only about a minute and a half. I didn't get to watch Obama's speech. I read a little bit about it, but it's been a really busy day. As you can see right here, here's my phone. It's blowing up again right now, and that's a political person wanting to talk politics. So,
yeah, all night at work. You know, last night it was just kind of like, leave me alone. But everybody, it seemed like people that I've never talked politics with, they just all wanted to come up and get my thoughts and, you know, how I felt. And I just, yesterday, as it was going on, you know, I don't know if I was still in shock or what, but it was just like, I couldn't do it. And you know, it seemed at least 15 people probably in the course of 10 hours, you know, try to talk to me. And it was just kind of like, oh, I know we got to come on here today and talk about it. And, you know, I'm ready because I think, you know, as far as, you know, me and you going forward and the show, I think there's reason for inspiration, I guess. And this is, hopefully we'll take this kind of as a rally cry and you know, moving forward. But yeah, everybody wanted to talk yesterday, and I just wasn't in the mood. Luckily pot's legal over here. Not that that's been
not that that's been prohibiting you.
But yeah, so instantly, I guess as of yesterday, it's now illegal to possess an ounce or so of marijuana. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get the stores running up until 2018 and stuff. So
this is
something to look for, but
this is the good news
of
this episode. You guys in California legalized marijuana, which is fantastic. Again, not that it was stopping you at all, or most of you guys over there.
Yeah. Well, you know, the cool thing too, me and my wife were talking yesterday as, you know, we're dissecting the news, is that Nevada also legalized marijuana. And
oh man, that's your second home.
My favorite place.
Holy
Las
shit.
Vegas.
I wonder if they're going to allow you to do it on the street, just like they do alcohol over there on the strip.
I plan on it. And,
you're just like, fuck it, I don't care. I've been smoking weed in California this whole time, and it's finally legal.
Well, when I go to Nevada, I smoke like I'm in California, so it's not too different. But yeah, I'm glad they did it. Now I can actually fly to Nevada, and I don't have to drive and bring my own stash. I can buy it over there. So I'm looking forward to that.
And your Raiders, I I will say this: it would be completely unfair and hypocritical of me to say I'm coming back to the Raiders. So there is none of that. But you guys just beat the Super Bowl champs last weekend, and this is the best record that you guys have had since the choke of 2002, which was the last year that I started working after 2002 and took 8 to 10 years off of football, which is why I'm not a Raider fan anymore. But goddamn, you guys are looking good, and going to Vegas. Marijuana is now legal in California and Vegas. You got to be, I mean, regardless of the executive branch and the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court, aside from federal government levels, state laws and state governments for that matter, but as far as state laws go, you got to be on cloud fucking 9 over there.
Yeah, I am excited about that. Like I said, I look forward to being able to actually fly instead of that freaking 7-hour drive all the time. So that'll be nice.
Well, over here we have some progressive stuff as well. We did pass euthanasia, which is fantastic, and that does not mean that you get divorced or you lose your job. You get to go legally just kill yourself with a doctor's assistance. It's terminal illness and less than 6 months to live, that sort of thing. You should be in power to take your own life under dire circumstances and complete consciousness to make that decision. So we passed that, and our minimum wage by 2020 will be, which isn't too far away. Everybody's like, God, 2020. I think 2020 just sounds so far away, but it's really not. It's going to be 2017 here in less than 2 months. So it's going to continuously raise up and hit $15 an hour for the state of Colorado by 2020. So now that all of that great shit is out of the way, the laws and
I think
the Raiders.
A couple more. California sending their first Kamala Harris, the first black female. She's actually multi-racial or ethnic, I guess, but she is considered the first black woman to the Senate. Mm-hmm. So that's a step forward. I believe in Oregon, is it an openly gay? I don't know if it was a senator or a governor. Maybe I think a senator, but in Oregon, it's like the first openly gay senator. I want to say. So I mean, there was a couple.
Well, with any luck, if they go like our executive branch, we can follow up these progressive decisions with just the worst possible follow-up we can think of. So that's it, everybody. Now we're going to get into the next 40 minutes or so, or we'll see how they go. I had a plan for how this show was going to go, and questions that I was going to use to strike up conversation with you and I, and topics to go over, and all of that's out the window because Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. And not it wasn't a close victory. Yesterday I had no doubt in my mind, no fear that Hillary Clinton was going to win. The fear that I had, and I guess it's a selfish fear, was that she wouldn't win in a landslide. I wanted Trump to be, in the low 200s, and I've said on
embarrassed,
here, yeah, I've said on here before, the best opportunity we have to not only preserve the possibility of a third party in 2020 and have a progressive platform and hold Hillary Clinton's feet to the fire and all this other shit. The best opportunity we also had to shut up these flannel wearing motherfuckers was for her to annihilate Donald Trump, and that didn't happen. Shockingly, that was my fear. So, what do you what do you got on this?
I mean, I was wrong.
We all were
kind of same camp, and not to classically, blame the media, but it seemed, they had it seemed an open and shut case, like it I think from that standpoint of how wrong all the pundits were, and and everything, I think it just goes to show the election, and we don't agree with the hurt and the pain that these people that voted for Trump have, but it's clear that it's there.
Right.
And last night I was listening to the Young Turks a little bit, and Jink had he made a sentence. I had to give him props for it, but it to me is basically what happened is the populist party, the Democrats, ran a corporatist candidate, and the corporatist party, the Republicans, ran a populist candidate, and this election year was just so anti-establishment that it changed everything,
And there's a whole other side to this. I mean, I'll get into my views that kind of contradict what I'm going to say right now, but America, you had your revolutionary, you had your guy. You had your guy that's been in Washington for decades, but has still remained an outsider. You had this person. Now it's and you've said before it's you don't like arguing hypotheticals or anything, and I don't either. But 55% of independents, according to a CBS poll, 55% of independents voted for Steiner Johnson, and I've gone through my 5. How many stages of grief are there? Is there 6?
Honestly, I've never gone through all the stages, so I'm not sure.
We'll just say this: if there's 6 stages of grief, I went through 1 through 5, beginning from about 11 p.m. my time last night until about an hour and a half ago, and I've hit acceptance. I'm there. I'm done. And you know me personally, so you saw me during my my anger phase, where I basically said that anyone who in any way contributed to this outcome, fuck you. And I still stand by the foundation of that. However, it's not, blaming now is not productive, and I feel like what I needed, and it's still not even there yet. We're recording the show, and it wasn't even 12 hours ago or 24 hours ago there was still a chance for Hillary. All of the thanks Obama, all of the shit that man got over the last 8 fucking years, and what he was able to do with it. And I think he even said passing the torch on to Trump is just that picture, that image, just, it does not make sense. It just doesn't. And I'm not as hostile about it as I was about 12 hours ago, but I still stand by that in the sense that I know everybody's feelings were hurt, and you and I have talked about how I so quickly moved on to Hillary after Bernie, and that was not easy. That's just me. That's just me going, let's worry about this later. There's something more important that needs to be done, and more important, as Bernie said, was making sure Trump didn't get in office, and that, to me, had to happen. It had to be prevented. And now, I've gone through it twice this year. I wanted Hillary Clinton to win at the expense of Donald Trump. Not really for Hillary. I was very hopeful for her, and realistically positive about holding her feet to the fire on the DNC's new platform that her and Bernie came up with in Florida just before the convention. I was hopeful. I was excited to see that. And I was excited to see a female president. I feel like that was, progressively, politics aside, that was the way to follow up our first black president. But to everybody that took that away right now, it was not, I get it. I get the pain. I get the heartache. I get the fuck you to the establishment. And I understand it. That's a huge part of me. But no, this was not the right course of action. It wasn't the reasonable course of action, and I don't think anybody who doesn't support Trump wholeheartedly would disagree with that. Now, I mean, if you support white supremacy and misogynistic abuse, that sort of thing, sure, but
I mean, I think obviously this is what we have. We're here, right? But when you look in this election so far, the counts are still being perfected, but it looks like between Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, they got about almost 7% of the overall vote.
Right.
The Libertarian, they got 6%. Jill Stein is like 0.9 or something like that, right? So when you look at the Al Gore, George Bush, Ralph Nader got 19% of the vote, right? So
yeah.
This is not. It's not.
It was in Wisconsin and Michigan. Those two states, Gary Johnson had had nearly triple the amount of votes that Hillary Clinton would need. But it's not just them. It's not just them. It's also the people that in protest did not vote or wrote in, Jingles the cowardly beast. Like those people too. And that's a huge number. Blacks did not turn out. I mean, you saw all these counties that Obama just annihilated both McCain and Romney on that were very dark red last night. So it's not just the third party stuff. It's the people that didn't vote either.
But this takes to where I kind of point the blame, and obviously this is nothing new, right? But there was a candidate that inspired people, that got people that typically didn't vote to vote,
right?
That would have pushed some of the red counties into blue because of the message that
he wouldn't have had the Rust Belt issue.
Exactly.
Trump would have had a much more difficult time in the Rust Belt. And that can be said also with Hillary saying that she's going to put coal miners out of work. I mean, there were mistakes made.
And that's that's the thing. It's when you look overall, not just Bernie's popularity, right? But she had open investigations going on with her. Everybody knew the hatred that she has already. That is unjust. I'll agree.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to take that into consideration when you're choosing the person that you need. I mean, it's a popularity contest.
Well,
I
would be contradicting myself if I would say that emotions should have been put aside yesterday and they shouldn't have been put aside with Hillary. I mean, they should have been. And I said this. I mean, I'm 99% positive. I said on the show prior to the convention, I think even prior to the California deal, when her emails were getting really out of hand, the Benghazi thing was getting out of hand. Again, complete bullshit. The right wing has been working on Hillary Clinton for 2 fucking years, many months prior to her even announcing that she's going to run in 2016.
Well, so, I mean, since she was first lady. So,
yeah, I mean, she's
for
just
20 years.
Yeah, but really, they amped it up. They worked on getting untrustworthy to be the first thing that pops in. Somebody who's somewhat uninformed on politics to be the first word that pops in their head when they mention Hillary Clinton. And I'm pretty fairly positive I said this on here. For the greater good, Hillary, step aside. But again, this is hypothetical. These are hypothetical deals. We don't know what would have turned out. Who knows? Trump may have been able to get the point about this scary old unhinged socialist.
No, see, I think
out there.
And we'll talk about moving forward in a little bit, but I think you let the establishment off the hook when you say that it's a hypothetical to say Bernie wouldn't have beat Trump, because in every single poll Bernie was ahead
in every
of
single
Trump.
Poll, so was Hillary, and Hillary had a huge lead
within
after the
the margin of error. No, within
after the third debate, after Pussygate, there was every poll was putting her at a 75 to 90% chance.
Okay, but I'm talking about when the primary was still going.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, but I am. So when you still had Bernie, when Bernie was against Trump, he would win by a landslide. When Hillary was against Trump, it was within the margin of error. That was, I mean, that's a known fact. We can go back and look at polls.
No. Bernie had an 8-point lead. She had somewhere between a 2 and a 4, depending on what poll you looked at. But Bernie consistently had an 8 to 10 point lead during the primaries. No, I understand. I remember that. But the thing is, what I think you need to acknowledge is that every poll got this wrong, and every poll had Hillary Clinton. It was the poll with major swing states taken out of it was 268 to 200. It was like 202 or something like that. I mean, every poll had Hillary Clinton doing to Donald Trump worse than what he did to her last night, and it did not happen. So it is hypothetical because here's why. We've talked before. We've talked before about how there was a shift in the Trump supporters from the primaries to the general election, where during the primaries it's all right, we know he's not going to build a wall, he's not going to deport 12 million people, he's not going to register Muslims, monitor mosques, all these different things. He's not going to do that. Once the general election started, once the primaries were over, it was, yeah, he is going to do those things, and here's why he should. They stood behind him. So it does not. So my point is that he proved us all wrong. He really did. We had, the silver lining of Donald Trump is that he showed us how backwards a large population of this country, the basket of deplorables, how big that basket actually is. And he used it on us in a way that we did not see coming. So for me, it leaves the major possibility that knowing that the majority of, white uneducated males were his voter base, if those were the majority of the people that ended up voting for him and winning him those states, I don't put it past, and again, we're arguing hypothetical, so I would like to move on, but I don't put it past Trump's capabilities of convincing everybody that the scary socialist is going to tank the country. And that's all he would have on Bernie, but I'm afraid with the with the enormous ignorance that has been exposed over the last 24 hours, that he may have, that may be all he needed.
No, I don't think so. I think one of her biggest flaws, and again, this I'm not saying this is right, but all of these people thought a woman should not run the country, right? So you have this, right? Barack Obama being the president right now, all these people are, not all these people that voted for Trump are racist, right? But a pretty sizable majority are. And I know when I've worked with racist people, one thing they hate to have is a black boss or a minority boss or a woman boss, right? Just because that's who they report to, and they feel, the authority, and it should be a white man in authority. So that, obviously that hurt her too, but it's just going forward, is like you said, pointing fingers now is over with. We had potentially talked about the Republican Party having a civil war between them when Hillary won, and now I'm asking you, what's going to happen to the Democratic Party, in your opinion?
hopefully what we were hoping would happen to the Republican Party. This is what I've been talking about. I've said on the show over and over again, we support Hillary Clinton until November 9th. On November 9th, we hold her accountable. And now, so funny how everything just comes to a screeching fucking halt. But now, here's the thing. Yes, the blame is over. I still have my view on the people that did a protest vote, third party or not vote at all, write in a bullshit name, whatever. And I think as they and people that did vote for Donald Trump start to get scarred by this decision, I think it will pull everybody together because we will have something in common. I think that will happen. And with regards to the Democratic Party, hopefully these Bernie or Busters and all these other people, they got what they wanted. They got their big fuck you, DNC, you're not going to choose our candidate for us.
No, see,
they got that point.
This is where we disagree on
no,
this.
No, but that was the point. No, I'm not even trying to attack. I'm being dead serious. The point of the Bernie or bust or protest vote of any kind was to tell the DNC after they rigged the primaries, which there's no debate about, that you're not going to choose our candidate for us. Is that not what this whole thing was about? I'm not even trying to be to be combative right now.
Yeah, but it's not the again, Jill Stein, less than 1% of the vote, or a little bit over 1%. Not
the point. You got to include all of them. You got to include anybody that did not vote for Hillary Clinton based on what happened to the DNC. All I'm saying is that is what they wanted to prove. The figurative middle finger that they gave to the DNC was to say, you're not going to choose our candidate for us and fuck us over again. Here's my point. All I'm saying is, mission accomplished. You guys got what you wanted. You just fucked the DNC out of the Senate. The Republicans will now control all three branches. No, that is what they did. All I'm saying now is, if you involved yourself to that extent, follow the fuck through. This is now the time you've all been fucking waiting for. This is the time to start building a third party, which means you better now start listening to every word that comes out of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren's mouth. When they tell you this is the person you need to vote for in your district, that's who you fucking vote for. That's the collection that it's going to take. You tore down the DNC. Let's rebuild it in our favor and make sure that Donald Trump's presidency will not be for nothing. Am I off fucking base here? Because you seem like I'm being combative right now, and I'm really not. I'm saying you got what you wanted. Now, let's fucking work for what you guys wanted to do in 2016 to begin with. That way we make sure in 2020 it actually fucking happens.
Is that with the Democratic? I mean, so are you saying vote for third party in the next primary? I mean, in the next midterm election? Or
I'm saying what
you want the Democratic Party to
yes,
rebuild?
If the work is done. But what we do not get to do, and I really hope you agree with me on this, what we do not get to do is say, speaking for all these third-party voters or non-voters, we did our job, we said, fuck you to the DNC, we're going back to our fucking lives. And then we're going to pull this same bullshit again in 2019.
But the thing is, this is the difference, is because I spent so much time, and it wasn't, I know so many people that spent more time than me, right? I spent so much time in the trenches with these people that you're talking about that to me it's asinine, because these people have been voting this whole time.
What am I saying that you disagree with? I'm saying we need a third party in 2020. Don't stop now.
But the way you say it is like,
no, I'm being genuine here. I'm not being combative. I'm not being insulting. What I'm saying is you guys got what you wanted. For better or worse, they got what they wanted. Now the hard part starts.
But see, what they
build
wanted
this
was,
shit.
But okay, so I guess that is the different. The goal for them is not a Trump presidency, right? The goal for them was to have an alternative.
And we're going to disagree on whether or not it was worth it, but whatever.
Okay. And so what the Republicans were able to do, or what conservatives were able to do on their side, is they were to get the Libertarian Party 7% of the votes. So now they have federal funding for all elections going forward, right? So what the Green Party failed to do is get 5% of the votes. So they have no funding going forward, and all the funding comes from personal donors. So that's one thing right there. That's one reason there where a lot of people voted for the Green Party or Libertarians. I know a guy that told me yesterday that he voted for for Johnson because he wanted them to get the 5%, so they got federal funding. So that, I mean, that's a factor right there.
No, I understood, right? But I think where you may be confusing this with what I'm saying is I'm not going to the Green or Libertarian Party. I don't like what they offer. I don't like who they put forward. And if the people that are supporting them followed them so damn blindly, and I've had my fair share of arguments with both sides of third parties over this election season, I'm not supporting them. What we need to do, like, I support a third and fourth party. Like, I as a party, I support the idea. I do not support them and their policies for obvious reasons obvious to me that I've gone over on here. What I think needs to happen is a new, fresh third party, we have 4 fucking years, needs to start. Because I'm not supporting either party that put Gary Johnson or Jill Stein at the helm directing where that party goes. We need a new one, and we need good people that are known. We need politicians that have been a part of the establishment, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. We need those good people like Warren to step the fuck out and start something new. Start the Democratic Socialist Party. We wanted Bernie so much. That's why we're fucking here. Start the Democratic Socialist Party. Don't go with a party that denies fucking science and denies and supports anti-vaxxing, or the people that think you shouldn't have to have a driver's license because the government shouldn't tell you when you're ready to drive a fucking car. Let's not do that. Let's start new.
But okay, so I'm not saying that's a horrible idea, right? But how much establishment people you bring in there, then that's, I guess, that's
Understood.
a whole nother topic for debate. But the one thing that is not fair for you to do is put Jill Stein's personal beliefs in there with the beliefs of the Green Party. If she's an anti-vaxxer, that's not the Green Party's stance is not anti-vaccine, right? That's how she's made.
So we shouldn't. Yes, but that is who they put forward. So should we not judge, and have we not judged libertarians based on the remarks and statements of Gary the fuck Johnson? Come on, dude.
No. So you're telling me I don't have an understanding of the libertarian platform?
No, I'm not.
I do,
no, I'm
and
not
I
saying
don't like that, and that's what I've attacked.
No,
right?
of
so
course.
Gary Johnson has added some clips in there that's made it funny, but
yes,
the libertarian platform, I completely disagree with. I mean,
yes.
like you said, for reasons you said, talking about not that we shouldn't have any foreign
They're
bases,
fucking nuts.
for the army.
Yeah,
they're nuts, right? So that's not.
And I feel the same way about the Green Party. What I'm saying is as of today, we have over 4 years, and this is what I've been saying. We're waiting for
2 years because 2 years.
Yes, you can talk about Congress and shit like I get it. Congressional shit. I understand, but when it comes to, I want to think big, but I mean, we also have to think realistic. It's going to take some time, and if I didn't say that, I would be contradicting everything I've said since the primaries ended. It needs to be realistic, but it's going to take some time. And the established party.
So then, do we give Republicans the House for 4 years? I mean, we have to challenge them in 2 years, right?
No, like I said,
as Democrats, or
we
as a third
listen to the people that we trusted. One of them being the person that we are all arguing about having this conversation to begin with.
Yeah, but
if Bernie Sanders comes out and says this is the person you need to vote for, that's who you wanted to be president. Listen to him. And if the people speak loud enough, as the people that just got Trump in office just proved, shit will happen.
He's not going to speak on each district for the House of Representatives.
No. But what I'm saying is, a new platform needs to be fucking established, and it should not, in my opinion, be the Green Party or the Libertarian Party. If we want a third party, it has to start off brand new. And if everybody was banded together under Bernie Sanders' platform, let's just make that the fucking platform. Let's go for socialized fucking schools, socialized medicine, healthcare, treating drug addiction as a health issue. All the things that Bernie Sanders fought for is what led to this current conversation that we're having right now. So we know what umbrella of policies that the majority of people are willing to get under and get behind. Start a party that does that. And yes, there needs to be a lot of new fucking people, but there needs to be some old ones too. We can't just have a bunch of people with great ideas that don't know what the fuck they're doing. We need the Elizabeth Warrens. We need Cory Bookers. We need those people.
The Tea Party did it, right?
What's your point? Yeah, the Tea Party did do it, but
so why couldn't progressives do that?
What do you mean?
The same thing that the Tea Party did. If you look at least half of the members of Congress, the House of Representatives, that are Tea Party people, they had no political experience or very little.
And how do you and I think of them?
Are they effective? Were they effective in getting their things
they're
done?
Effective
yes
in
no?
their
okay.
They're effective in making sure things don't get done.
Which is what they wanted to get done.
Yeah, but that's fucking easy. Come on. We're talking about real social fucking change here. We need people that actually know what they're doing. That's the point. And just like Bernie said, this starts with mayors and all that shit. But what I'm saying is we cannot just say, oh, this person has the right idea. He wants to make in privatized prisons. You know anything about prisons? No, I just know that profiting off them is terrible. Cool. You got my vote. No, you need to fucking know these things. Let's not set ourselves up for failure here.
Obviously, right? I'm not saying you just put people that just are just puppets up there, right? But what I'm saying is you can't just take the Democratic establishment and move them over to the Democratic Socialist Party.
I'm not saying that.
And say, oh, now we have change because now Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker are in charge. They were part of the problem in the DNC.
They're also the most progressive people that we have in the DNC. Some of them. So, and don't forget, Bernie's in the DNC also. The person that started all this.
Independent.
He ran on the DNC ticket. That's what I'm saying.
But right now he's not. He has no connection.
I got it.
He caucuses with
what
him,
I'm saying
he's
is
not part of the DNC.
Look, we've gotten kind of off track here. This episode is not about putting in.
It's about going forward now.
It is about going forward. But what I'm saying is it's completely unrealistic because those Tea Party people were also Republicans with office, with experience that knew how to not do anything and tell their supporters that government doesn't work because they don't do anything. It's not very fucking hard.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Okay, and there were dentists, there were freaking librarians,
Rand Paul,
whatever. Yeah, right. So those guys made it to the Tea Party, right? All I'm saying is, why can't we have teachers over here? Maybe lawyers, maybe, but I don't know. That's almost business. That's almost a politician there. But I mean, when was the last time you had a teacher or somebody that was, a scientist or different people? I'm not saying put up some idiot that can sign on to a good platform.
I'm
saying we can do better than the candidates we're given right now. So I'm saying in 2 years, in my opinion, right, we need to get to work and start attacking. If obviously me and you cannot create a third party, but we can definitely aid one or put our efforts into one. And if that's the case, I mean, we have midterm elections in 2 years,
right?
So in 2 years we can't say, oh, well, here we are. Well, we need, we can't have Donald Trump have everything again. So we need to vote for a Democrat just because that's our only option to get the midterm. If we're going to start a third party in 2 years, you can't say we're going to vote for the Democrat. We need a Democratic Socialist, or I'm just using that as an example.
And if the people start shouting, totally agree. And that's what I've been saying this whole time. November 9th is the day, and today's November 9th. Totally behind it. And, you know, to your point, I mean, a scientist running for office that sits on the science committee won't bring a snowball into the fucking White House and say climate change isn't real. Look at this. They also won't say that the female body has a way of repelling unwanted sperm from a rapist. We won't have these primitive Neanderthal fucking issues. Got it. All I'm saying is we will need, it would be great to siphon out some of the progressive leading people of the DNC. And I can't name that many of them. So I'm not talking about a whole lot. That's all I'm
agree,
saying.
No, I mean, I agree with the idea and principle, right? But I just, in my opinion, right, the reason that they supported Hillary Clinton, some of them, you know, who are more progressive, who you would have thought just based off of the things they've said in their platform, you would have thought would have supported Bernie in the primary over Hillary, and did opposite, right? The reason those people did that is because they're in a good spot, right? I mean, they have it made, you know, and it's not all selfish, you know. Maybe they could think, I have it made. I'm in a good spot where I'm able to support my people and, you know, try to bring change to my community, or, you know, whatever. It could have been that, but at the end of the day, it was, I'm in a good spot, right? So if I do this and challenge the DNC, they might support my primary. They might primary me in the next election, you know, or, you know, whatever the case, right? Or they might stop my funding or whatever. So you have, I question how willing these people would be willing to give up their spot.
No, here's the deal. If they're not, fuck them. That goes for Warren, Sanders himself, which I highly doubt for either one of them. But if they're not, fuck them. Done. This is I've said it before, this is the not fucking around time. And that time is going to extend until we finally get shit done in 2020. And then it's going to continue on after that. Basically, when it comes to third parties, I do not like either option that we have. We already know one umbrella held the most people. You said it yourself. I don't like arguing hypotheticals. I do think Bernie Sanders would have had a better chance of beating Donald Trump. It's just after seeing what happened last night, it is hypothetical. I don't know if Trump would have needed anything more than he's a scary socialist to get the same rally. We can debate, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but just remember, and I'm going to throw it in one last time, is these were the two most, let me think of how to properly word this, the two most disliked candidates in history, right? So yeah, it seems like people hated her more than they hated him. So that's a factor as well, right? It's not just...
and like I said, this is hypothetical shit. But what I'm saying is, we know what umbrella held the most people. The third party needs to be created from the ground up, grassroots, all that shit that Bernie Sanders talks about, and people need to come back to that umbrella.
But okay, so this is, I mean, I agree with you, right? And this is, we're in the same boat from here going forward. But I guess it's how do we start paddling? You know, is the question, because this party's not just going to make itself. And Bernie Sanders,
but
I mean, it's,
you and I,
76.
You and I, and our small little corner of the world with our few thousand listeners. Those few thousand listeners know a few hundred people at the very least each. And we're not going to be the only ones that have this idea. There's going to be other people that have it. And through networking, get on Meetup. Look up people that are looking for stuff like this. Put ads on Craigslist. Put think tanks together. Meet up with atheists. That sort of thing. Use social media to find and meet people. That is how this happens. One thing with, both candidates, stronger together. We need to get together. Unfortunately, what's going to have to happen is because there are some people out there that, like I said, even though these protest voters got what they wanted, they got to say fuck you to the DNC and do it in the worst way. And the people that voted for Donald Trump, they need to see the scars first. That's what I feel like needs to happen. There are a lot of people out there that are worried that have medical conditions that they need medicine for. Once their health care runs out, or better yet, wait until Trump appeals the federal minimum wage and your company doesn't have to pay you what you deserve anymore. Wait until that happens. And if that doesn't happen in the first year, if that doesn't happen by 2017, wait until 2018 after we've pulled in no fucking tax dollars from anybody, because everyone got to mark all the poor got to mark I win, and we have the largest tax breaks for the top 1%. Once that happens and the economy fucking crashes again and blows up in Trump's face, and the next time we almost get on the brink of World fucking War III because Trump told the leader of China to go fuck his mother because he had to take his mouth off Putin's cock for a minute and say, we need to go after China. As soon as that shit happens, these people are going to get fucking scarred. And that is what is going to bring us together. We're going to show our fucking Bernie scars, our Hillary scars, and our Trump scars. And that's what's going to bring us together, because these fucking people are going to finally realize that Trump never gave a fuck about you. Never. You have nothing to fucking do with his plans. He is a man baby who wanted to be king of the free world. And somehow he made that happen. That is what's going to happen. The majority of the people won't be to the table until 2018, which will be great because what happens in 2018? Congressional elections. Just in time. But for right now, use your fucking social media and start meeting people. That's what needs to happen. Agree or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And you know, there's people on my Facebook. I've been busy with sports. Alex actually is playing in the Super Bowl this Sunday for the little Pop Warner. So I'm waiting for that to end so I can actually have a life again. But I'm constantly there's groups of Bernie supporters that I met with and canvassed with and volunteered with. I mean, they're meeting all the time. They're doing. I mean, they still do the freeway signs. You know, personally, it's not really my thing, right? But yeah. They'll stand over the freeway and say, you know, no to the TPP or Dakota Access Pipeline is the one they did this past weekend. So, I mean, you know, there's definitely people out there and stuff like that. But
there's plenty of them out there.
You know, and this is, I live in a pretty conservative area, unfortunately. And there's a pretty large group of young and old people. I mean, like I said, some of these people have been. I don't know if I mentioned on the show, but when I picked one of them up to go to a Bernie rally, he said, "Hey, just so you know, as soon as we picked him up, he said, I'm a radical." It's kind of like, okay, you know, like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, you know, I was on the Communist Party in the '60s, or you know, like. And as he was, you know, telling me all his different things, I mean, this is somebody who, yeah, is a radical. You know, that it's fair to say. And you know, I think that's the only reason I think sometimes I get defensive is just because I've seen these people, right, and you know, they're thick-skinned people. It's not like they just got their feelings hurt and said, oh, you know what, screw you. It's people, you know, that had been activists for years and years and decades, and they finally saw a candidate who wasn't affected by the money and who truly had their best interest. And these people of different, you know, financial backgrounds came and volunteered and put money and you know, did everything they could just to get the message and show what happened, just to find out that we got screwed by people on top who had already made their decision. You know, that's just where I understand where they're coming from, you know, and yeah. It's not the most logical reason, you know, and I'm fine with admitting that, but at the same time, you know, I understand, you know, when you get your feelings hurt, sometimes you say fuck you, you know, and once I've said fuck you to somebody, it's pretty hard to go back and say, you know what, let's be friends.
No, I get it. But it wasn't their towel to throw in. This is just me. My view is, as we've discussed, social policies, the gay marriage towel, the right to choose, the funding of Planned Parenthood for for women's health, healthcare itself, immigration, Middle Eastern relations, foreign relations, and the simple fucking respect that we get worldwide was not their towel to throw in. And that's my opinion. And I appreciate that you said it's not the most logical. If you say that, then that's my entire point. But it wasn't their towel to throw in. I know people that are going to suffer as a result of this, and people will fucking die because of this. Medical issues, healthcare, people will die because of this shit.
But if you're gonna lay blame though, right? And
no, I get it. Fuck the DNC.
Right?
I blame the DNC. Yes, fuck them. But I would just much rather shoot myself in the foot than in the head. That's the whole fucking point. I get it. I understand their side. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I don't get it. Somebody in their fucking mid-60s that have been fighting for communism and socialism and progressive ideas and just couldn't do it again this time. I understand. They fought hard. They fought long. They have lost too many times. I get it. But it's still not your fucking towel. And as a straight white male who is not affected by the right for a woman's right to choose, not affected by gay marriage, not affected by mass incarceration, I have more than every fucking right to say so because I don't have a dog in the fight other than the fact that I care about this country and the people in it. That's it.
Yeah, I would just say the bigger problem, rather than the people that didn't vote or protested for the third party, are the 50% of the country that voted for Donald Trump.
They're not excluded. One of the questions, like I said in the beginning of the episode, that I had a whole different agenda planned for tonight. One of those questions is, what do we do with those people? I was going to ask you, and I was going to have us discuss. Obviously, you're not going to cut your child or your parent or maybe your brother or best friend out of your life, but for everybody else, not the older people that are like, I'm worried about my Social Security, my retirement. A businessman, successful businessman, not knowing otherwise, a successful businessman in the White House sounds financially like a good idea. Excluding those people, the ones that are actually for and
no, that must be pretty. That those people must, even if they're old, must be pretty uneducated if they think that the Republicans are going to be better for your Social Security.
You got lifelong Republicans. You should know. I mean, just from we haven't talked about it at all, but I mean, just from Christian atheist arguments that we've had, it's really hard to talk to people. And as we've said before, the wall being torn down is on them, not on us. And that is, some people, that wall is fucking reinforced over years of tradition and closed-mindedness.
Yeah, but
it's hard
just to exclude those people. No, you got to put those people in there.
Those aren't the people I'm worried about. I'm worried about the guy that says, "Make my tortilla, motherfucker," in our goddamn intro. It's those radicals on Trump's side. Those ones that actually know the evil that man is planning and the things that he has talked about and has supported him. Yeah, those are the bigger fish to me.
But let me be fair, and just because recently, the last week or so, a lot of people came out on my Facebook or people that I know that I have on Facebook started coming out in support of Trump, and I'm sure they support him for a while. But the last week they wanted to give vocal or whatever, and to be honest, of the ones the 5 or 6 that I in the last week just found out were Trump supporters, I don't think any of those guys are those make my tortilla motherfuckers, right? I don't think they're not, so we have a bigger
then
issue
what are
of
they?
Just broken. They're just, I mean, some of them are just Republican, classic Republicans that have been, Republicans for a long time. I mean, just, and maybe, maybe some of them are bigoted behind closed doors or, whatever. But I just, what I mean is I've never seen any of that from any of the 5 or 6 people that I deal with. And, obviously I'm Hispanic and I've hung out with, these people at various lengths in my life, and I never, saw any kind of, because I mean, typically, even if it's not towards me, which not that I've experienced a whole lot, but if somebody's a bigot or racist, I'm pretty quick to realize that. I mean,
you're Hispanic. I'm pretty sure, if they're bigoted or racist, I mean, you should be the first to realize that.
Well, but I mean, even if it's not even if it's not towards me, if I see two people interacting or something like that, you can typically tell. And all I'm saying is these people were not necessarily those people. So we obviously have a problem with the working class white males that used to vote Democrat that obviously didn't this election.
This is called the Great White Lash. And Trump said it. Trump said it last week. I think I said it on this episode that there will never be another chance. This is your last opportunity to take our country back for Whitey. Let's close out. Take a minute. Do whatever you got to say. Or say whatever you have to say about any of this.
I mean, I guess, moving forward, like I said, we can talk about what happened or whatever, and to me, it's like you said, it's pretty pointless right now. We need to move forward. I think as far as for progressives, this is the biggest. This is your chance right here. Like this is it. This is the time where we got to rally together, and prove the things that we want to get done. We got to make them happen. And for myself, I've talked about potentially running for a local office in the next couple of years, and I want to get more serious into that. It's what it's going to take. It's just to get more people involved. Hopefully we get a third party kind of going. It's going to be interesting. I mean, he has the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court. So right now we're, liberals, progressives, we're pretty voiceless when it comes to politics. So buckle up and, don't sit back. We got to stay vigilant in Trump's words, but we got to put action to words to action and get something going.
Agreed. What I will say about all this is to echo what you just said. We don't need one of our third parties. We need a new one. And that day is now. That day starts right fucking now. Use the technology. We are always complaining about Christians and Republicans and people having a device in their pocket that can give them the best possible answer to any question, and they don't use it. Start using it, and start using your social media to not post pictures of your goddamn food. Use it to meet people. And the thing is there are a lot of us out there. I mean, that's one thing. I read Michael Moore's post today about things that need to be done. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Donald Trump is not the majority of this country. Neither are his supporters. And that majority is going to start going away. These independents, the protest votes, Donald Trump supporters, as we all start to share scarring with each other, we will start to finally come together. I thought the battle was beating Hillary with Bernie Sanders and the war was going to be against Trump. Apparently, I was wrong. This was the battle, and we just fucking lost it. We're going to lose the war if we do not start right now. Use the technology. Do what Alex and I are fucking doing. Start your own goddamn podcast. Alex, what do we spend a month on this fucking thing? Like $30 just to have a podcast. We're talking less than $100. I mean, we have more expensive equipment, but less than $100 in equipment, $20 a month, you can do what we are doing. You can get out and use your fucking voice, and I promise you, you will realize that more people agree with you than disagree with you. You just need to step out. I can't tell you, Alex, I'm sure you can vouch for this too. I can't tell you how many people reached out to me today just to see how the fuck I was doing, and were calling me all throughout the fucking night and sending me text messages to see how I'm doing, because they know how deeply I care about this. And I also can't tell you how many people have told Alex and I, that they respect what we are doing because they don't have the courage to do so. Fuck your courage. This shit is over. This is fucking crunch time. This is time for the third fucking party. Alex, you're right. We have 2 years, less than 2 years. We have a year-ish to get this shit done. Start the Democratic Socialist fucking Party. Fuck the Green Party. Fuck the Libertarians. We have a much bigger umbrella that has room for all of us and has the most progressive fucking platform. And if you really, seriously, all you protest people that I have been pissed off for this entire year, that, in my opinion, led to the result we got last night. All of you people that bear responsibility for what we just fucking went through, you really want to stick your fucking finger up the ass of both sides of the establishment in this fucking country? Start the third fucking party. Get out and start voting, start running for office, and start coordinating with each other. This now officially is the not fucking around time. I beg you guys. We have too much technology at our fingertips. Use it. Hopefully, next week, we'll return back to our normal programming. We'll start off with Sunday school. We'll bash some religion. We'll give you the biggest dick in history, or our giant dick of history at the end of the episode. Right now, I just realized I said we'll give you our. But this episode right now. This episode right now is about the giant dick that we just got fucked with. Let's cut that motherfucker off. It's circumcision time, motherfuckers. Let's get this shit done. I'm Mike. That's Alex with AOR Podcast, where we are not for the faint of thought. Follow us on Twitter at AOR_podcast, the Age of Reason the Age of Reason page on Facebook, and for everything else, AORpodcast.com. I know there's protests out there, everybody. Please stay safe.